Welcome to another episode of Black Music Scene Podcast, where we share the stories of Black classical musicians in our field. Today, we're live from New York City's Opera America. I'm your host, Brittney Burgess, and I'm joined by violist Shania Watts and double bassist Wynter McCray at a pivotal moment in their lives as artists and leaders. In today's conversation, Shania and Wynter will reflect on their identities, values, and evolving sense of leadership as they think about the next chapter of their lives. Let's give them a warm welcome. So, y'all, it's so nice to have you here today. If you can tell the audience a little bit about yourself, so where you're from, your instrument, your college or alma mater, and what made you choose your instrument.
All right, I guess I'll start. My name is Shania Watts. I play the viola, and I'm a second year master's student at the Juilliard School of Music. And what made me want to play the viola was honestly its rich tone and really just being the heart of the music. Um, I really love being able to be at the core of the harmony and I guess be like a foundational piece in an ensemble.
Hi, I'm Wynter McCray. I'm a double bassist and master student at the Juilliard School. I'm from Columbia, South Carolina. What made me choose the bass? Thinking back, it kind of was something that was recommended that I play. I think I first chose the violin or viola one of the two when I first started in like orchestra in sixth grade. But the teacher recommended that I start on the bass, and eventually I did fall in love with the color of the instrument, how deep and beautiful the tone was to me. So I just stuck with it ever since.
And I hope everyone who listens to this gets to hear you both play. I also didn't introduce myself. Again, my name is Brittney Burgess. I'm from Queens, New York, born and raised. I am a vocalist. I went to school for opera. I went to Nazareth College for music education and Eastman School of Music for vocal performance and literature. And I am the co founder and executive director of Black Collegiate Musicians. And I also work full time at the Juilliard School. So I'm so excited to have this conversation with you all because, as you know, my work is centered around supporting students, right? So I think it's also important to note that I have a history with these lovely ladies here. And Shania is actually my official mentee. And we've been connected for like 2 years or a
Yeah,
year,
like
a, ye-
almost 2 years.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Wynter and I go way back. Wynter, Wynter and I went to Eastman School of Music together while I was doing my master's. She was doing her undergrad. And it was a time, Meliora, for those who know. But yeah. But yeah, I would love to talk about, this connection that we have, but also like how you two met one another, if anyone wants to share.
Yeah. Shania and I met at Juilliard. It was during orientation, and we went on the Juilliard cruise, and we saw each other on the boat and just clicked.
We were both sitting down. I think we were the only ones.
Yeah. But ever since then, we just kept running into each other, and we started hanging out, and just became good friends over time.
Yes. We
Amazing.
found out that we're very, very similar. Almost too similar.
Yeah.
We're basically the same person.
Yes, and we love to see it. Um, they even told me recently that they both picked up knitting or crocheting again at
Yeah.
the same time and on
Unplanned.
the
We did not
same
talk to each other.
day
Yeah.
and unplanned completely. And I love that. That's just how you know that they're locked in for life. But as I said in this conversation, we're really getting to know them at this pivotal moment in their life. And as they think about next steps as they are on the precipice of graduating from their master's. But one thing I want to check in with you, or one thing I wanted to ask her, what were some of your most memorable moments that you've had as a performer or in music?
Um, for me, I think it will go back to high school. I used to be a part of this magnet program at the Palmetto Center for the Arts. I remember there was a recital performance. It was one of the first ones that I've ever done, and my mom was in the audience. And I remember during the performance just looking up and seeing her actually being moved to tears as I was playing. And that's just stuck with me forever. And it's been like one of the foundational moments of what I like to, or who I would like to be as a musician, rather.
Mm, I love that. How about
Yeah.
you?
Well, for me, um, my family is fairly musical, but my younger brother, he has Down syndrome, and for a large majority of his life, he has been nonverbal. But whenever he would hear me practice or perform, like he would get up and dance and smile and laugh, and just seeing music impact him in that way, and you know, kind of bring him out of his shell was always like really special to me. And I I guess want to continue having that impact for even a larger audience.
I love that. And when we were talking about this question specifically, I shared with both of them that I remember graduating from my undergrad and being able to sing America the Beautiful at graduation. It was the biggest audience I've ever performed for. And after, everyone's taking pictures and, la la la. And this police officer came up to me and said, I just wanted to say that was the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. And you have such a gift. Congratulations. And it's like moments like that keeps you going, especially when this degree is hard, right? Like being a musician is hard and being a Black woman, right, in this field is also very difficult, right? But we'll get into that later, right? So just an opening and grounding kind of a question that I've been thinking about is how would you describe yourself right now outside of the titles and the roles and the various roles that you hold? They're in student leadership, they're leaders in different ways, they're teachers, performers. How would you describe yourself right now?
Mm-mm. Overall, I think first starting off as like a friend,
Mm,
someone who cares a lot about people and wants to do things that can help others over time and also just in whatever they're going through right now. Um, but right now, in this moment, as I'm approaching this next chapter, this turning of a new leaf, just someone who's content and at peace with the process. Um, I know it can be a lot to think about, like, oh, what's coming next? Oh, I need to get a job. Oh, I need to submit these applications to go to school. Oh, summer festivals.
who's paying?
Just understanding that it's like all a part of the process and that it takes time. And just keep moving forward and trust that the universe will do me well.
Mm-hmm. It will.
Yeah. For me, I would describe myself outside of titles and roles as, I guess, like an unconventional creative, because one thing that has been really consistent about who I am as a person is that I've always been really strong-willed, and I like to forge my own path. And I think within classical music, like there is kind of this unsaid path that everyone's kind of expected to attempt to take, and it's never really resonated with me. Like I enjoy doing lots of other things outside of music, and I remember growing up and people telling you have to choose one thing. I don't necessarily believe that right now. And so even though I don't know what the future holds, I'm not trying to limit myself. I want it to be as creative as I can and do it in a way that works for me.
Mm-hmm. 100%. And I think the skills that you all have gained and are doing are allowing you to make space or take up space in whatever you want to do. Do you guys want to talk about some of those leadership roles that you're holding or what you're, yeah,
So right
going to
now,
titles?
yeah.
Yes.
So right now, I am the current president of the Juilliard Black Student Union, and Wynter is our vice president. And it has been a really wonderful experience. When we both first arrived at Juilliard, the union hadn't really it hadn't really been functioning. So we took on that role to kind of bring it back, and it's been so rewarding. It's been so much fun, and even though it's a lot on my plate, I really do enjoy it, and it's taught me a lot as a leader.
Mhm. I'm the current vice president of the Juilliard Black Student Union. Um, just overall, just supporting Shania and the other Black students at Juilliard and the different divisions. And I'm also a MAP fellow at Juilliard, so I get to mentor a lot of younger bassists and bass playing, orchestral playing, just any questions about music that they have.
It's amazing. And you guys are going to be incredible mentors for so many people as you go through. I mean, I feel like you guys are like my mentors. Um, um, but when you think about this moment in life, what feels the most present or alive for you as well?
Definitely time. So, we're both graduating in the spring. And there's so much going on. Like I'm, wanting to take auditions and applying for other programs. And I don't know what the other side looks like, which is really scary. And so when you have all of these things on your plate and one more semester left, time really feels like it's just barreling. It's so scary. And I I'm trying to not let it stop me because it's really easy to get paralyzed and just hold yourself back. So I'm trying to kind of embrace, um, I guess, the speed of everything and the uncertainty, and not really seeing it as an obstacle, but just like a new phase that's going to contribute to my growth as an artist.
It will.
Yeah. Piggybacking off of Shania here, this for me is also time, just trying to make time for myself, trying to make time for like the students that I mentor, trying to make time for the academic requirements that I have, the musical requirements, and also just trying to focus it all in who I am as an artist and who I want to be as an artist in the future as well.
Hmm. And kind of pulling all of this together, thinking about time, right? You guys are so busy. Like, what is something that you're doing to make sure that you're taking care of yourself? Because that's something that I'm always trying to think about, right? You're going, going, going. You're in the middle of New York City. You're at one of the most prestigious conservatories, there's a lot of pressure that comes with that. So, how are you taking time for yourself?
Ooh.
For me, I think it's just recognizing that it's like constantly reminding myself like everything doesn't have to happen now in the moment and that I can truly take time again to enjoy this process and where I'm at. I feel like the first year, my first year in New York City, I spent so much time just trying to accomplish as much as I can, doing everything, reaching in different pots. But this year I tried to pull back and actually like enjoy the fact that I'm in New York City. I live in Harlem.
Harlem's where it's at.
So I like to go for walks also sometimes too, just to take a relaxing deep breath.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
For me, it's trying to reconnect with my other hobbies. Um, Last year, I was not engaging with really any other, I guess, artistic medium outside of music. And I have a lot of hobbies that I like to do, um, like knitting and crocheting, reading, writing, doing hair. I do all my own hairstyles, and so that's really like therapeutic for me. Like I like using.
I'm waiting for my hair appointment. It's
Okay.
okay.
But I love using my hands, and so this year I've been really trying to just engage with all parts of who I am and, trying to have balance. I think balance is so important as a musician.
And it's so important that you learn that now because balance and boundaries in life is so important because you cannot pour from an empty cup, right? We hear that so often. I know we're all tired, okay? And we're showing up not only for ourselves, but we're showing up for people, right? So if we don't show up for ourselves, then how can we show up for people? So I'm happy that you guys are thinking about this. This is also something that is central to Black collegiate musicians' mission, right? I'm always thinking about how do we take care of students, right? The mental health aspect. I'm a huge advocate for mental health. And I've talked to you guys about this and resources that are available. So I'm glad. And, I'm always here to support as always. But as we think about, who you are, the time, the place, all of these things that are evolving, I want to also tap into your artistic voice, right? Your artistic identity. And I want to know, how has your relationship shifted as you've grown into yourself as a musician? So thinking back to your undergraduate studies, your childhood, from now to then, as you again are getting ready to graduate soon, what does that look like?
I just got this weird image of a sandwich. Because I think about where I'm at now mentally and artistically and compare it a lot to how I was before I started like college and my undergrad. I feel like then I had so many ways of being creative, songwriting, arranging, composing, playing different instruments. I played violin, I now play viola, I played cello, I did guitar, I sung, and it's just now I'm reconnecting with so much of that. But in between those two different spans of times, I was solely focusing on bass and how much I've grown just through that process as well. Making the many different connections, making these friends, getting to collaborate with so many people, and having all these different opportunities. So I think of just finding that inner child again.
Mm,
Yep.
yeah. Um, so when I was in high school, I was insufferable. Like, y'all. Yeah, no, I really was. Like, I was like a classical music snob. I was, yeah, a little pretentious. Not gonna lie. And I was consumed by the viola. Like, that's how I defined myself when anyone asked me like who I was. I was like, I'm a violist, and I was just obsessed with it. I only cared about practicing. Like, instead of doing normal high schooler things, I was, locking myself in my room for 4 hours just practicing. Um, and so when I got to college, that changed because, I had a lot of personal things going on in my life at that time that really forced me to really like reevaluate what my future would look like. And I had to really think, like, who am I outside of just being a violist? Who is Shania Watts outside of a violist? And that really encouraged me to, you know, e- explore maybe other career paths and work on growing other skills. Um, and I really think that was important for me because had I not done that, I don't know. I feel like I would be in a very different place. So now, as I'm about ready to graduate from my master's program, I actually do feel confident in a way because I was able to explore various skills. And so I know that wherever I go, I have like a toolbox to pull from and that I'll be okay. So yeah, I would just say to young musicians out there, really try to find out who you are outside of music. That's also important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I shared this with both of you, but it was also a time when I was either in my master's or undergrad, and someone asked me like, "Who are you outside of music?" And I was like, "What are you even asking me right now?" And it took me, but I was like, I was too stunned to speak. Like, I was really in shock because I couldn't answer that question. And it was really helpful for me to kind of think about me as a whole person, how who I was before this, right? And before also going through certain things in my life, because one thing, life will throw so many obstacles at you that you had all of these things planned, and when they don't go the way as you planned, sometimes it can make or break you. So, to anyone who's listening, try to be flexible with your life, because one thing life life will do it to you.
Life be life in.
Right, right. And I think for me, being able to just explore so many of my interests, like I love higher education, right? I love working with students. Y'all, I have a music ed degree. I was supposed to be working K through 12. That was the plan, and a school has not seen me in some years, right? And I love being in arts administration, but Like, I love what it means to think about like equity work in higher education as well. So just allowing myself to be flexible is advice I would give to students, and just people in general, because I think people of all ages are still learning about that.
Definitely.
Yeah. And I think also just considering how important those life experiences are, because that's what makes us as artists, where the technique and what we study in these institutions meets the experiences and where we can merge the two together to create.
Yes, that's so true, right? Because we think about like just some artists that are coming to my head, like John Batiste, right? Like, him being from New Orleans, or let me not say New Orleans because that may be wrong, but Louisiana. um, but like how that showed up, how his root shows up in his artistic voice, right? And then going to an institution like Juilliard and getting the formal training that like combines those, like what that means to him, right? So yeah, I love that. So don't lose your artistic voice because it makes you who you are. And thinking about that, what are you protecting about your artistic voice right now? Because I also know that it can be very difficult when you are being trained to, you know, be the best, essentially.
Yeah. Um, what I'm protecting right now is just my ability to choose. I feel like coming up through these different institutions, it's just constantly doing, 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 taking every single opportunity, whether it benefited me, where it didn't benefit me, whether it hindered me in any type of way, just choosing specifically what I want to do and having the ability to say no
Mm.
and just going through that process overall. I think so.
Yeah. I'm gonna dovetail off of that because like at the end of the day, we've done the training, we've earned our degrees, and I think sometimes from what I've seen, especially in classical music, sometimes when you're a student, you sometimes feel like you can't say no and that you have to go down the path that someone wants you, what they think you should do. And so for me, it's just like, yeah, protecting, I guess my free will. Because at the end of the day, I think like I'll know what's best for me. You know what's best for you. You're the only one really walking your path. And so, yeah, just trusting my instinct and my gut and, not trying to base my future off of what other people think is best for me. So that's kind of what I'm protecting right now.
That's amazing.
Trusting myself.
Yes. Amen. That's so important. And it's going to help you not only as an artist, but as a leader, right? And I guess that's kind of my next question. So, when do you feel most like a leader? And what responsibilities do you feel toward yourself, both as an artist and a leader?
I feel most like a leader when I am seeing people being taken care of and getting the resources that they need. Um, just being able to help people overall and then give them connections to resources, other people, and just seeing them grow. This gives me that joy as a leader. Um, and the responsibilities I have towards them and myself is just also make sure that I'm also taking care of me in that same process. Because I feel like often we get so tied up in what we're doing through what we physically do and what we do in support of others that we sometimes forget that we need to take care of ourselves in moments.
Uh, I really feel most like a leader when I I feel like people feel comfortable and that they feel safe. Um, I think a lot of times we have this misconception about leadership. It's like telling people what to do and managing them. I don't think it's that at all. I think um, people should be able to come to you as a leader and you should be able to receive what they have to say and listen to them and give them a safe space. And I think that creates the most healthy environment. So that's really what I try to focus on in any leadership role.
Yeah. And it's so true. I mean, you all know me, and I would say I'm a combination of both of those, right? So, meeting people where they're at, I'm always trying to take care of people. I'm like, what do you need? I'll do anything for you. But also, like, sometimes, like, it's so important not to lose yourself in that. Like, I mean, if I'm being honest, like, it's been a difficult semester, like year. Like, I don't know what's happening in the air. I mean, I do, but, but it's been like a lot. I tried a sleep deprivation tank. Do you know what that is?
I've heard
It's
of
too
it, but
it's very
that sounds
expensive for no
crazy.
reason. But it's like when you're laying in this, like, it's kind of,
like a type of warm
yes, like a tub, and it has like
mm.
Epsom salt and stuff, so you like float to the top and you just kind of lay there for an hour. And it's like, especially if you're, I think I've been feeling personally like overstimulated because New York City is so like, ugh, sometime, and just being able to shut off. And so I don't know if I would tell like a lot of people to do it, but
Wait, is the water warm?
yes.
Okay.
Yes. But the thing that kind of freaked me out about it was that they have a light in there and it's red.
Oh,
But usually most places that they let you change, but so that did kind of freak me out because it felt like I
Why
was
red?
I don't know. I thought I was gonna get murdered. But but no, like things like that, taking care, or as you say, like knitting and crocheting and all of those things. But just when you're thinking about those leadership aspects and like taking care of yourself, at this stage in your life, how would you define your type of leader, the type of leader that you are?
Mm, I think just being there for people, you know, um, being a good listener. I also think being a leader means putting your ego aside and being able to take feedback and take it seriously, um, and be fair. So, like as president of JBSU, I always want to hear from our members. Like, what do you want? What do you need? Like maybe I might have something like an idea, an agenda that I think is best, but at the end of the day, like it's not about me, it's about them. This is their community. So I think just listening to the people,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
yeah. I'm in the same boat. I couldn't even said it better. You ate with that. Yeah.
I would love for you to like talk about some of the things that you've been doing in JBSU and recent events, maybe too.
Sure. Yeah. So when we were restarting the club, we really wanted it just to just be like a fun, safe space for the students, especially like during this time. It's a difficult time, you know. So we will do like movie nights and game nights. And most recently, we did a joint potluck with the Juilliard Black Employee Network and JBSU. And it was amazing. We had a great turnout, and it was honestly like I think a highlight for both of us, just to see the students happy, fed, laughing during finals week. And a lot of them showed up. So I think it was just rewarding to know that, like, yes, it was a lot of work, but just seeing everyone happy, like all those Black people in the room, it was really incredible. Yeah. And then coming up, we have our Black History Month showcase and possibly another event with the Black Employee Network. We'll see.
Yeah, and just creating those connections and
Yeah.
kind of blurring that, not blurring, but meshing together the faculty and staff and the students so they get to know each other so they have more support while they're at school and in the building.
Yeah. So we were talking about Black Employee Network, the potluck. Very important to know what these two brought. Um, Wynter made some yams that were so good. So, and this one over here, Shania. Now, I'm West Indian, I'm Jamaican. So collard greens is like not always like my go-to because we eat callaloo in Jamaica. But them collard greens were seasoned to a T. It was honestly amazing.
Affection.
So we'll actually be having you do an entire meal for us. Yes, thank you.
First I heard of that.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you for
Just her.
catering. No, 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 both of you.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
6-course meal. Thank you.
We'll see about that. Yeah.
No, but it was really just a beautiful time. And I'm so proud of both of you, how you've created this space for students. And I hope that this continues post you graduating. But it seems like the students really enjoyed it and they want to keep that. So hopefully it continues and to blossom and all of those things. Now, I kind of want to have like a little bit of a fun section so people can get to know your personality and, all of those things. And um before I get into that part, uh what kind of musician are you committed to being in this next chapter?
I feel like for me, a musician that can provide opportunities for different artists to give their voice. One of the things I enjoy most about music is the collaborative aspect. I love chamber music. Love, love, love it. Um, Recently, I've been working with two composers at Juilliard, two composing students, and I'm premiering two new works on my degree recital in April. So just being able to provide a space for them to showcase their voice and see their works performed really gives way into who I want to be in the future as a musician and as an artist.
For me, I really want to center humility. Uh, I think at like the core of who I am as a musician. Because I think when you're humble, it allows you to work with other people and just really embrace that collaborative nature of music, as you said. Um, and I also want to share. I want to be able to share my knowledge and help somebody, whether that be through teaching or just working with them. I think that's really an important aspect of being a musician is taking the knowledge that you have and imparting it to other people.
100%. I feel like I do that a lot, especially with you too. Yeah. When I first met Shania, I think we were matched because you're interested in like the legal landscape of music as well as administration. I was like, this is what you got to do. This is who you got to talk to. This is, and I mean, you can tell just like how you've owned that in this time, both of you. It's just, it's so exciting and beautiful to see. So I'm so proud of both of
Thank
you.
you. You know,
Yeah, I'm old. Anyway,
Stop.
here's the fun part. Okay. So, who is your current top 5 artists or musicians that you're listening to or composers that you're listening to in classical music?
Classical music. Um, I'm gonna go in order from top to bottom. Number one, Joseph Conyers. If you know, you know. um, Second, I would have to say Berlin Phil as a whole entire collective. Um, then I would say Tchaikovsky, especially right now because 'tis the season. um, Other classical musicians, Beethoven. I've been listening to a lot of him, especially because I'm just taking a course on the late Beethoven quartets.
Oh, yes. I heard about this class.
Yes,
Yes.
16-page paper.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I heard about it.
single space.
Yeah.
Single space.
But you did it.
Did it, and I got an A on it too.
Period.
T. And I will also have to say Brahms. I just love his symphonies. I never get tired of them.
I feel like we have some overlaps. Surprisingly, because I feel like people who have known me like since I was little, I was not a Beethoven fan. I know that's crazy, but I played a Beethoven quartet for the very first time this semester, which is also crazy. But Beethoven's actually tea. Like that man is tea. Was tea.
No,
um,
he is.
is
He is, yeah.
timeless. But yeah, so I'm gonna have to put Beethoven, Brahms, always and forever. I love Brahms, man.
Mhm.
Uh, and I also, I love Shostakovich. I really do. I do. And Grieg. I love Edvard Grieg. And I'm gonna add one more, Ravel. Yes.
Okay, now same question, but non-classical. So who are your top 5 non-classical artists, composers, singers, songwriters, producers? Yeah.
Well, I
I
know
feel like your
you
list is
two.
obvious.
We know you're number 1.
Number one.
Megan.
Meg.
Yes. So yes, number one, Megan Thee Stallion.
Miss Stallion.
Mhm,
Yes.
Yes. Number 2, Beyonce.
Say Beyonce.
Say my name, say my name. um, Third, I would have to go with this group called Flow. Kind of resembles Destiny's Child a little bit. Um, 4, I would say, don't judge me, Future.
Girl. Okay.
Just the music, not the person, the music.
Okay.
Okay.
And I'll also have to say Jasmine Sullivan.
Jasmine can sing. 100%.
Okay. My top 5, Beyonce. Like the soundtrack. All of her albums, a soundtrack to my life.
Yes.
Let's see. I've been listening to Minnie Riperton a lot lately. I love Minnie. Those whistle notes, so good. And then Kendrick, Meg, and also the like an R&B artist. She's not as well known. I don't know. Amber Mark. If y'all know, you know, like she's good. I love her.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to look her up. I will. Okay. Back into the orchestral world, right? What are your top 2 favorite orchestral works, like of all time? What do you not get tired of?
Mm.
You can go first on this.
Okay. I have a few.
The first one that comes to you. The first 2.
Okay. Well, first 2. Can I do 3?
Yes.
Okay. Shostakovich Symphony Number 10. Serenade for Strings by Tchaikovsky. And this isn't really orchestral, but the Suites for Viola da Gamba by Carl Abel. So beautiful. I highly encourage our listeners to check them out.
Amazing.
For me, I would say number 1 would probably be Brahms 4. Number 2, I would have to say is Rachmaninoff's Second Symphony. And number 3, if we're adding a third, it would be Brahms 3.
I love it. I mean, it tells so much about like, what's keeping you connected. What are the things you're enjoying outside of classical music? Like just essentially what are you listening to? Um, but as we, continue and like as we're wrapping up this conversation, it was important for both Shania and Wynter to also put some questions of their own that they were like, we really want to add these. So I'm excited. And that being, what do you hope for the next generation? And what words of wisdom would you give someone who is just starting out as a college musician?
Words of wisdom, I would say take time for yourself and find out who you are. It doesn't all your time doesn't always need to be spent inside the practice room. Yes, it's important, but it's not the number one thing. You are. And I just hope that the next generation after us of classical musicians just have the resources they need to do whatever they desire to do. We're
Yes.
all
We're all trying.
There's a will, there's a way.
Heavy on that. Words of wisdom. I would say it's okay to say no. Um, Also, don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid of being told no. Don't let that hold you back. But I would say just really outsourcing, talking to people, asking questions, um, trying to find mentors. That has been really, really important for me, and it's been so, so helpful. Um, and I really hope that this next generation continues to, I guess, show that classical music uh, is still relevant, and that we can show a more diverse landscape. Um, yeah.
Yeah.
Can I add some more things? Another thing I want to add: use your campus resources.
Mm-hmm.
Schools do have a lot of them.
They do.
Sometimes they don't tell you about them, but
Yeah.
sometimes they have a lot of them. So just make sure you're utilizing those, and don't be afraid to ask for help.
What resources would you point out specifically?
I know a lot of schools are connected with like different brands, so you can get different subscriptions at a very reduced cost. Some provide like mental health resources, regular health resources. So just make sure you ask and look for those things.
Yes. My biggest tip to everyone. I don't know if I've told you guys this though. Interlibrary loan.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
love
If you need a textbook, say maybe for like your general education classes or a textbook you probably would not utilize again in the future, and I'm so sorry if anyone gets mad at me. But some of these textbooks can be very costly, but with interlibrary loan, you're essentially able to like find the ISBN number. Every college should have interlibrary loan, and it's a way for them to outsource or find those books for you, and from any library in the world, I would say. And they can send that to you, and you can usually rent it out for free for the entire semester. And that was very helpful to me because that history of Western music, music history book was so expensive.
that book. I still have it. Oh my goodness.
And I don't.
$92.
Yeah, interlibrary loan. If you want to sponsor me. Uh, but yeah, I think just thinking about those different resources and different organizations to connect with, like Black Orchestral Network and all of these other organizations that are doing such incredible work and really, showing up for people and making sure that they know that they're here and you are supported. Same with Black collegiate musicians, obviously. Um, and words of wisdom I would also give is just to be still. In those times when things are going, just be still and take a moment for yourself. Because I promise you, even in the hardest of times, everything will be okay.
And sometimes you just need to stop and sit for a moment. The answer will come right to you.
Yeah. And it's okay. It is okay to just not do anything. I'm a heavy believer of that.
Because we're still human.
Yeah. There are days like I don't get things done, and I have a day off, and I'm like, you know what? That's fine because when I go back to school the next day, I'm refreshed.
Yep.
So
100%. I love it. Um, I think I asked you this a little bit earlier, but thinking about everything that we've just talked about today, right? What do you think a younger version of yourself would think about who you are right now?
younger me would be shook.
Same.
Because I don't know if I mentioned this, but I started out as a violinist. And I was like, I'm going to be a professional violinist. I actually hated the viola when I first started it. So I think the fact, like, if younger me could see myself like actively pursuing the viola, they'd be like, what in the world? Like, why did you do that? Um, I think also younger me would be really proud.
Hmm.
I feel like
Mm.
I've reached a place in my life where I'm doing so many other things outside of music, and I feel like I'm coming like into who I am as a person, as an adult. So, I just remember being a kid and thinking like, what does adulthood look like?
Yeah.
And it's crazy. There are things that people don't tell you. You kind of have to experience it for yourself.
Mhm.
But overall, I'm really happy and excited for the future and continuing to see, you know, the woman I'll grow into or keep growing into.
And I want to add to this. What does this look like for you both as Black women?
Mm. I feel so being a Black woman in classical music, like we're in a very, very small percentage. Um, so I think just also understanding that um there will be eyes on me and just being a good example and a good role model and trying to carry myself I guess with like dignity and grace because
Mhm.
I definitely want to see more Black women in classical music. I think it's important. That representation is important.
100%.
Yeah. Younger me would definitely be shocked. Like growing up, I used to watch movies and they would like show New York City, and I'll hear about Juilliard, and I could have never imagined that I would be where I am
Yeah.
today and accomplished as much as I have. Um, but also just coming from the environment that I was in back when I was a child, just under being able to, if a younger me could witness where I am today, they'll probably break down in tears.
Mm.
Because let me also plug this in here. Make sure never to give up on yourself,
Mm.
because if I were to have given up back then, I can't possibly imagine what I would be doing right now, where I would be. So just make sure you keep advocating for yourself and never stop fighting for yourself, no matter what the situation is that you're going through.
Yeah. And also understand, dovetailing off of that, that progress is not linear.
Mm.
It's gonna be bumpy. There are gonna be curves, unexpected obstacles. But when you take a step back and look at the overall trajectory, it's still going up. So yeah, don't let the obstacles hold you back.
Mhm. And I know all of us as Black women, we've all been through some stuff, and we're here.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. And then to finish your question, being where I am today as a Black woman, this gives me this overall feeling of gratefulness.
Mm.
I've been approached by so many random people, whether they come from the audience, they see me on the street, they see me on the bus or the train, where they'll say like, "Oh, I went to this performance," and I'll thought to myself, "Who is this Black woman up there with the locks?" And just being approached and like recognizing that I inspire so many people, or so many people look up to me, and I have that ability to influence somebody. This gives me that overall feeling of gratefulness, and I'm thankful that I get to affect people that way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for both of you, and you inspire me both every day. Don't make me cry right now. Oh my God. Um, and I think this kind of ties into this, but just being the closing question and, being in this space. Thank you again to Black Orchestral Network for inviting us. What do you want people to understand about Black orchestral musicians that often goes unsaid?
Mm.
For me, I would say that we're still a part of the culture.
Mm.
Like we do something very unique and special,
Mhm.
but we still appreciate the things that we grew up doing in the environments and the culture that we grew up in.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm gonna second that. Like, I think growing up, um, people would be like, "Oh, you're not down for the culture because you play classical music." That's not true. And I think that once people get to see like what I actually do, it's actually like so cool and inspiring. So we are very much still a part of the community
Yes.
for sure.
Yes.
I mean, look at my top 5 non-classical.
Yeah.
It's so important. I know like my friends are like, I'm here to support you. And anytime, like, I remember one of my best friends coming to like one of our operas at Eastman and was like, so this is what happened. And this girl, and she was trifling, right? But like it's all about the storytelling, right? And that's what we're doing. So being able to connect with it ourselves and then bringing that back to our different communities. And, I think that's so special. And so, and if anyone has any last closing words or anything.
If you're a student, also don't forget to eat and stay hydrated. I still struggle with that, but it's really important. It's
For an
not
adult too.
underrated. Yes, yes. But when you in school, like really try to focus on that. It makes a big difference.
And schedule those doctor's appointments. Don't
Mhm.
neglect.
Literally. Yes. Well, thank you all so much. Thank you for being with us today. It was truly just like a special time. And I know this is the end of finals for you all. So being able to get up at 9 a.m. or I don't know what time I woke up at 6 a.m. Just to like get myself together. But thank you for being here today. Thank you for having this conversation with me. Thank you to Black Orchestral Network for sharing this space and providing a platform for not only these students, but of course for Black collegiate musicians. And if you're interested in learning more about the work that we're doing at Black Collegiate Musicians, you can find us at blackcollegiatemusicians.org and Black Collegiate Musicians on all social media platforms. Thank you so much.